wide-ranging research programs. We look at improving animal production systems, plant production systems, human nutrition. We also do science directed at protecting our natural resources. The underlying theme here is increasing production of nutritious food while decreasing the impact of the food production system on the environment. Now, scientists in the agency conduct research on a number of different scales. Field scale research using farm equipment, tractors, planters that farmers use, sensors in the field sensing soil moisture, drone satellite images, all the way down to research conducted in test tubes, Eppendorf tubes, using molecular biology approaches, omics approaches, genomics, transcriptomics, proteomics. And what this does is, oops, sorry about that, is that it results in a large number of different sources and types of data. And if you throw into the mix that some of these field experiments have been going on for decades, long-term research experiments, you have a lot of unstructured data, such as what you see here on the in the notebooks on these shelves. And you have structured data in spreadsheets and PCs, personal computers, scattered around agency locations. You have images from drones, satellites, sensor networks, met stations, etc. We also conduct individual research and research in large networks. Individual research being conducted by small teams at one location, scientists and their supporting staff, the principal investigator, and large teams scattered geographically throughout the United States, where there's literally dozens of scientists at dozens of locations doing this research. We have a number of these different large network projects, Altar, NuoNet, GraceNet, where they're looking at greenhouse gas evolution and carbon sequestration, et cetera. And what this does is it creates a need to be able to share data among contributing members of these large multi-regional projects. The end result of all of this, is an enormous, I'm having a hard time here, an enormous amount of data and the diversity of data from all these different projects. So we have challenges confronting the agency, capturing and enhancing the interoperability of our data, enhancing collaboration, and also enhancing the analytical capabilities of our scientists scattered throughout the United States. So what the agency did is they created this Partnership for Data Innovations, or PDI. PDI, it's grassroots field engaged initiative directed at changing or enhancing the way we collect, handle, and serve data. And it features centrally AgCross as an efficient mechanism to exchange data, manage data, and also to engage SciNet, which is our high performance computing resource. Gotta get something out of the way here, and then we'll be good. The target customer of PDI is the scientists in ARS, the Agricultural Research Service, as well as other agencies in the USDA, and their collaborators at universities and in agribusiness and industry, stakeholders and customers, as well as administrators in ARS and the USDA. Now, PDI has its own staff. We have computer programmer, we have GIS analysts who do geoinformatics work. And what the staff do is they work with the scientific personnel throughout the data to solve data management problems, collection, standardization, entry of data, They also write programs to increase efficiency of day-to-day laboratory operations. And the partnership means exactly that. We partner with a number of different companies in industry, as well as a number of different universities scattered throughout the United States and around the world. And what this does is it creates an environment for innovation by combining the talents of all these scientists within the agency, within the universities, and within the industry. And some of our current partners are listed right here on this slide. Now, this schematic shows PDI structure, and unfortunately, I don't have enough time to take a deep dive into this schematic, so I'm going to discuss it at a high level. Essentially, items in the green boxes at the lower portion of your screen are things we have ongoing right now. Items in red boxes at the top are things we intend on standing up by the end of the year. What we're working on now is expanding this platform across, this data platform, to develop linkages to other external data platforms such as Ag Data Commons, NOAA, USGS, and others. Develop customized data collection apps that I'm going to talk to you about in a second for observational data. Evaluate connectivity solutions to improve transmission of data from the field to the cloud. Develop linkages between continuous monitoring centers such as Metdata and AgCross, this platform. And finally, develop optimized regional laboratories for common sample analyses. And this is directed at analyzing samples more efficiently from projects conducted by these large networks of research teams. And here's that app I was telling you about. PDI took a survey of commercially available balance software and found that on average, this software cost $800 or $900 per balance, which is prohibitively expensive if you consider all the different balances throughout the agency. So PDI staff wrote this app and distributed it to interested ARS scientists, and it speeds the time with which we can weigh samples. It also cuts down on data entry errors because it directly imports the data into a spreadsheet. PDI is also developing customized tools to capture field management data. And this schematic right here shows the research fields at my location, the Beltsville Agricultural Research Center. It's a huge location. It's about 8 miles long at its longest, about a mile wide at its widest. And there are a number of different research fields. We've been doing research here since the 1930s, so there's a tremendous amount of legacy data with regard to field management practices at individual field sites scattered throughout the location. So what we're working on now is importing all of this legacy management data into AgCross so that scientists designing experiments have access to the legacy information. We're also developing apps so that the field crew can directly enter their field management protocols, what they've done in the fields, into AgCross. So going forward, scientists and the field crew can easily access all of this management data. Now, at the final part of my talk, I'm going to be talking about this platform AgCross, which allows for managing data modeling and enhancing scientific team collaboration, and also connects scientists to this high performance computing network, SciNet, increasing their analytical capabilities. In this video, we're going to go through the AgCross interface to a specific research project located in Beltsville, my location. In this project, what we're doing is we're overlaying Venus satellite AgVoice, unmanned ground vehicle, and continuous monitoring data. And right now we're zooming into the scientists' observational data collected through the AgVoice technology. Right now what we're doing is looking at real-time soil moisture data relayed to AgCross through the FarmBeats platform. We were also provided with the ability to bring in data from equipment from mounted sensors. You can see the tractor paths in the field there. All this information is brought into a geospatial platform in separate data layers. Using the AgCross platform, we link to external sources such as Venus satellite data. And right now, we're overlaying Venus NDVI data. PDI's role was to help the scientists develop data management solutions so they could standardize, integrate, and automate their data collection and allow the scientists to do things on more high-level tasks, such as refine their machine learning models. AgCross is a data hub designed to eliminate data silos amongst scientists scattered throughout the United States, provides researchers an environment for sharing data and science and engaging their stakeholders. It maintains a project's unique identity while engaging other projects in what we call a network of networks. In this video, we're drilling down to a specific long-term project in Colorado. Using the query tool, we can search for data on specific grasses in this case, data collected over a 30-year period. And in a minute or so, once the video loads, we collect all the data. You're going to see a graph that allows you to look at all this data at one stop, at once. Collecting data here. Takes a little while. And finally, here's the image of all the data. We see AgCross as a one-stop shop for agricultural data. We aim to achieve this by linking to external data sources and creating a user-friendly environment so our scientists can more rapidly obtain data for the research needs. Here we're linking to USGS and NOAA platforms to look at stream gauge data throughout the United States. So in conclusion, hopefully what I've done is shown how PDI, this Partnership for Data Innovations, is helping my agency, the Agricultural Research Service, speed the development of technology to sustainably feed the growing human population. Thanks. Are there any questions?
Thanks, Dan. Right on time. We have about 5 minutes. Let's see if we have any comments or questions in the chat. Okay. Someone says satellite data can be used in a variety of ways in precision agriculture. It helps us to analyze images over several years to locate fields around the world, determine their boundaries, and define crops in the stages of their development. We also have a question. How secure is the data, Dan?
There, you can set the security level. What you can do is set your user groups so that only a limited number of people or everybody can access the data in AgCross.
Okay, and have you adopted a common vocabulary for variables collected from diverse data sources?
This is the challenge we're dealing with right now. AgCross was stood up as a platform maybe a year or so ago. One of these long-term experiments performed at a number of locations that my group participates in, the LTAR group, has been collecting data since 1996. There's literally 18 locations throughout the United States where they're collecting data. Everybody's got a slightly different way of collecting and identifying their data sets. What the PDI team is doing, the PDI staff, is they're working with each of these different groups to try to come up with a common way of identifying data so we can store it. But no, it is a challenge right now. It's going to take a little while to iron out. And of course, everybody wants to do it the way they've been doing it.
Great. Okay, I think we're going to do one more question. And it's, are such tools or services available for small-scale agriculture in Africa, for example?
Right now, the PDI is directed at, like I said, ARS scientists primarily, scientists and other USDA agencies and our collaborators. If you collaborate with one of the USDA-ARS scientists, perhaps you could use some of these tools. I think right now we're focusing on the United States.
Great. Okay, I think if there's any more questions, I see someone's hand up. Maybe we can get to them at the end of the presentations. For now,
I've got to jump off and join another meeting, and I don't know if I'll be back, so.
okay, well, then let's see. It looks like Prashant. I'm gonna unmute you, Prashant, and let you ask your question.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, Dan sir. Hi, sir. Very nice presentation, sir, actually. In very limited period, you have presented very nicely, sir. Sir, I have one question that how will integrate which strategy we are using for integration of the data?
Sorry, you're breaking up. I didn't really hear you.
Sir, actually, which strategy we are using for integration of data?
Which strategy?
What's your data integration strategy?
Yes.
All right. I'm going
Thank
to
you.
come clean here and say I'm a molecular biologist, not really somebody with a background in data management. I'm part of the PDI team, but I'm leading a group that is more involved in it than I am. So unfortunately, I can't answer your question. Sorry.
Maybe if he can